Welcome to the Learn to Sew Academy channel. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you.
For this blouse, I'm going to use a length of 25 inches for the front and 27 inches for the back. So the back will be just 2 inches longer than the front. So what I'm going to do in this fabric is I'm going to first cut out my 25 inches plus any allowance I'm going to be adding. Now, as usual, because I'm going to be hemming the bottom of my fabric, I'm going to have 1 extra inch at the bottom, and I'm going to leave half an inch at the top of the blouse for joining it at the shoulder area. So altogether, I'm going to add 1.5. So if I add 1.5 to my 25.5, I'm going to need 27 inches for the front. So what I'm going to do now is just to cut that piece out first, and then I'm going to cut 27 inches plus 1.5 inches for the back, because again the back will be longer than the front. And then when I'm cutting these, I want to put into consideration the width that I want. The width I want here is the bust width, and I'm going to be using 44 inches here. So when this is folded, my 44 inches will be 44 divided by 4, which is going to be 11 inches. So I want to fold this in such a way that I have the 11 inches, or whatever your own bust is, divided by 4, and then you have the seam allowance. So I'm going to do an extra seam allowance of 1 inch. So when I fold this, I'm going to be looking for 12 inches. So this is what I'm going to cut out from this fabric right now. Now I'm just going to join the lines I made. This fabric shifts a lot, so I want to make sure that everything is properly aligned as I cut this. So I'm going to cut this out now. So this is the front. I'm going to cut the back now, and it's going to be 2 inches longer than the front. So now once we cut the front and the back, we're going to put them together. We'll cut our armhole, and we're more or less done with the main body of the blouse. And then we'll work on the ruffles. What I've done for the front now is I've cut out the rectangle that I need. Now I have the front and the back together. This is the front and this is the back. We're going to open the back when we're done cutting the sides. So this is going to just be our opening. There's not going to be a zipper, but we're going to tie it at the back with a string. We're going to make a piece of string that we'll use to tie the blouse at the back. And as you can see here, my back is longer than the front. So now that we've aligned this together, we're going to work on the shoulder and the armhole. The shoulder I'm working with is 15 inches. So you're going to start from the middle to measure the 15 inches. And we're going to divide that by 2, because when you measure your shoulder, you go from one end to the other end of your shoulder blade. So we divide that by 2, that will give us 7.5. And I'm just going to add half an inch more. We're going to be turning this in, but half an inch is enough for me. So by the time I'm done turning it in, it may just be a little tiny bit less than the 15 inches, which is good for me. So this is my 15 inches right here. And from there down, I'm going to measure 9 inch. So what I'm going to be doing from this point that I measured my 9 inches from the top here, like so, I'm now going to measure my bust. Again, I'm using 44 inches, so that will be 11. And I'm going to add 1 inch extra for the allowance. So this is what I have right here. So what I'm going to be doing here is, again, we're measuring from the center front, okay, because this right here is just where we have the back, Again, there is no zipper, but I'm going to be opening it so that I can join it, so we'll have an opening for where we put the string. So that's what that's going to be. So now I'm going to join from the shoulder area down to where I have the line for the bust. Again, this fabric shifts, but you can use it for with other fabrics too. You can do this style on other kinds of fabrics as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to leave this and connect it all the way down here. So it's just going to be like a very slight A, not completely A, but just very slight. So I'm going to now cut the armhole. I'm just going to cut this to give me the slight A shape. And now I'm going to work on the neckline next. That's what we're going to be doing next. And again, I'm going to use my pins to hold this together so that it doesn't keep shifting. I'm going to use a depth of 4 in the front. And I'm going to use a depth of 2 at the back. Now you can choose to do whatever you like. This does not have to be this exact depth. It depends on you as an individual. And you can check my neckline videos to see different types of necklines that I have there, just to check it out. So for the width, I'm going to do 4.5. So now I'm just going to cut this. I'm going to make a mark so that we know where the width starts for both the front and the back. I'm just going to cut the front. So this is the front only that I'm cutting right now. So that's my neckline for the front. And then for the back, I'm going to go to where I have my width. You can also draw your marks. I just cut mine straight because I'm used to doing this freehand. But if it helps you, you can first draw a line to guide you. Then the next thing I'm going to do is a shoulder slant. We always have a shoulder slant. So I'm going to do the slope right there. And for this, you can use anything between 1 to... You can use anything from 1/2 inch to 1 inch to do your slant. So I'm going to do 1 inch here. And again, you can draw a line first if you choose to, especially if you're a beginner. Otherwise, you can just cut it straight without a line. You just make sure it slants as you cut it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to open up the middle of the back. Okay. I'm going to mark my wrong side. To cut the ruffles, I want to know what I have here for my armhole. And I have 11 inches here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the 11 inches that I have here. So what we do, just like we do when we are cutting any circle, we look for what our circumference, what our radius is going to be for the circumference that we need. And the 11 that we measured here, we're going to times that by 2. Because remember, this is like a full circle after we join it. It's like going around like that. So we're going to times that by 2. So we're going to be doing 22 divided by 6.28. That's what we're going to calculate to find the radius of our circumference. So we have 3.5 for the radius we need when we did 22 divided by 6.28. To make the ruffles, I'm going to fold it in two ways. What I would normally call a horizontal and a vertical fold. So while I fold it, I want to make sure as I fold that I have enough length. And what we're going to be using here after we divided our circumference by the 6.28 is 3.5. That's what we concluded we're going to be using. Now, the length of my ruffle is going to be 2.5 plus an extra 1 inch for hemming the bottom. So that's 3.5. 3.5 with my 3.5 radius, I'm looking to have a length of 7 inches. So I'm just going to make sure I have enough this way, and I do. So I'm going to fold this in again. I'm just going to check this real quick too to make sure that I have the 7 inches as well. At least the 7 inches. Okay, what we're going to be doing now is we're going to start to measure from the angle right here where I have my fold from the tip right here. So I'm going to measure that 3.5 that we calculated for the radius. So the 3.5 inches. Right from that edge, that's where I'm calculating this from. I will just join the lines. Now we know we need a length of 2.5 inches, which is what I calculated when I was estimating how much to fold. So that 2.5 inches plus your allowance at the bottom for hemming, you can either start to calculate the 2.5 from where you have your line, or to get it more accurately, you can start to calculate right from the tip as well. And when you calculate from the tip, you have to now calculate the whole length. That is this radius plus your 3.5. That is 2.5 plus 1 extra inch for your length. So altogether, we're going to measure 7, and we'll keep doing the 7 all across, and then you connect the lines that you made on the fabric. So now we're going to cut this out. Now we have made the first layer, so we're going to make 2 of these since we have 2 sleeves. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place this on my fabric and use it to measure the longer length, the longer circle that I need to make for the next layer. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to fold the same way, and we're going to consider the length that we need. For the next length, we're going to need it to be 4.5 inches. So it's going to be 2 inches longer than the first layer. Since we already cut this, we just place this on the remaining fabric. And we just want to align where we have our complete fold with where we have a complete fold here. This is where this opens. We align it with where the first ruffle opens too. So we're just using the first ruffle as a template. So we just measure 2 inches longer. Another way you can do it is just to repeat the same process we had earlier. You can just go ahead and measure it right from the tip again and just measure it. That's another way you can do it. Otherwise, you can just place the first one on top of it and do 2 extra inches. So either way will work. I'm just connecting the dots again. And now we'll cut the same way we did the first ruffle. And now we'll cut this. So this is what we'll do with the third ruffle. If you wanted to make 3 or 4 ruffles, you just place this and you just keep increasing the size. So this is exactly what we'll do. So to do the other sleeve, since it's 2 sleeves, what we're going to do is we're just going to use what we already cut and use that as a template. After we folded the fabric in the right way, we'll just place these on top of it and cut exact same size. And this completes how you cut this blouse. Please be sure to leave me a thumbs up and remember to subscribe. Thank you.